Peace, y'all. Peace, y'all. Welcome to the Speakers Room Live. I'm Evolve Benton, your amazing host. And today we are going to have a conversation about where to find paid speaking opportunities. And I'm excited to tap in with you about this because I know so many of you have amazing stories, amazing expertise that you want to share with the world. And you're just not sure about how to find the paid opportunities. So we're going to get into that conversation. If you're listening right now, go on to put hashtag live in the comments. If you're listening in the near and dear future, put hashtag replay. And we're going to deep dive into this week's training. So for folks who don't know, we do weekly trainings here at Speaking for Profit University, our way of giving back, giving knowledge to people, and really holding space. And our goal is to diversify the speaking industry with as many diverse, amazing folks as possible in the next 5 years. And my goal actually is 5,000 people. So I want to help 5,000 of you secure the bag, and not just one bag, but build something that's sustainable and that lasts for a lifetime, right? Because this is a business that can carry you and take you really, really far, especially if you know how to implement it. I've been public speaking the last, let me put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I apologize for that. Siri, put my phone on Do Not Disturb, please. Thank you. So I have been facilitating space and speaking for the last 10 years, and I started off doing it as a side gig, and now I do it full time. So I'm excited to get into today's conversation. And I just wanted to share with you, for folks who might be new to the space or you want to return, if you want to go on and get on our text message list, this is where we send out. Today, we sent out a text message to our list and said, hey, we're going live to talk about where to find paid speaking opportunities. If you want to be notified when we have free development and opportunities to learn, just text the word speak to 323-405-9492. And that'll give you an opportunity to be on our list. We do not spam you. We only send you messages when there's opportunity. We really are big on that. So if you want to join that list, go on and text the word speak to 323-405-9492. And if you are watching this amazing live on YouTube, then go on and like and subscribe, because, that just continues to help us to build our business and to really connect with more people. So go on and like and subscribe. So let's get into the conversation of where to find paid speaking opportunities. And do me a favor. What do you speak about? I would love to know that. So go on and put that into the comments. I see that there's some folks that are already here and ready to learn, and I'm excited that you're here. So what topics do you all speak about? That always helps me as a facilitator to, really have a conversation that's a little bit more customized, and that gives you an opportunity to really think about how you want to impact the world. So what topics do you currently speak about or consult, right? Because we're not just talking to speakers, we're also talking to consultants. I know some of you are healers and facilitators of space. So what topics do we speak on? All right. Diversity and intersectionality in tech. Yep. Welcome, Miss EC. I'm glad you're here. Mental health and depression, right? Goal achievement, mental health and wellness. Okay, great. So the great thing is most of you all are already talking about not just a topic, but also an industry. And that's what I really want you to think about when we start to think about where do we find paid opportunities. We don't want to just think about the topics that we speak about. We want to think about the industry, because the industry is really where we're going to find the where and where we can secure the bag, right? So I did some research before getting into today's conversation. And what I want to say is that we're going to dive into where the top 5 places to secure lucrative paid speaking opportunities. So we're going to talk about the top 5. If you're a note taker, go on and get your notes out. This is a talk, so I'm not going to be showing slides, but take the notes, take the information, take it with you. And our only community guideline for today is that you agree to share this with someone else, because gratitude is the best attitude that you can have. And to be transparent, in order for me to be able to support 5,000 people, I need your help. I need you to share it with your homie and with your friend. So if you agree to share this video and this learning with one person, go on and put the word share into the comments. That's the only agreement that we have today. Of course, be respectful, be nice, all of that stuff. But I really want you to agree to share. So we're going to talk about the top 5 places to secure lucrative paid opportunities. The first place that I want to talk about is professional associations and organizations. So I don't know if y'all knew this, but many associations and organizations are actively searching for speakers. And we actually had an amazing speaker. Let me make now. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Y'all should be able to hear me now. Sound is saying that you can hear me now. Can you hear me now? Okay, perfect. We're gonna have to get rid of this mic. Okay, perfect. Wait for me. I'm back. I'm back. People can hear me. Good. And y'all stayed on. I appreciate that. Y'all, thanks for bearing with the issues. Okay, here we go. So y'all can hear me. Perfect. Perfect. So we're gonna talk about the top 5 ways that you can find lucrative paid opportunities, right? Top 5 ways, right? We get rid of this mic because it ain't working. It's trash right now. So top 5 ways, right? The first way is through professional associations, and organizations. And what I want you to do, right? You all listed, right? Opportunities and spaces where you can find opportunity by listing the topics and industries that you speak to. So I seen mental health, I seen finance, I seen someone said diversity, equity, inclusion, and tech, right? All of those are industries. So what I did was I went in, let me share this with you real quick. I put in, and this is Bing, y'all. This ain't even Google. Probably if I put it in Google, it would be better. But I put in call for presenters, right? Mental health, right? And look, National Council for Mental Health Well and Being invites you to submit a presentation proposal for NatCotCon May 1st through the 23rd, right? So there's a bunch of different ones. If you look up here, this is Bing too, y'all. If you do Google, it'll be better, trust me. That have come up under mental health that are looking for presenters. Look at all of these opportunities. They're all in 23, which mean they already happened. But that already means that you have an opportunity to be early to the game, right? And actually reach out and apply. You ain't got to wait until everybody else is applying. You can be on top of it, right? So think about the industry that you're going to speak to. And I always think about there's about 7 different industries, right? We have associations, of course. We have professional organizations, right? Right. I said call for presenters. Call for presenters. That's what I want you to write down. Call for presenters and then presenters. Yep, exactly. Call for presenters. So that plus the industry. That's what we're thinking about. So we have different industries, right? Tech, health, corporations, faith-based organizations, call for presenters, faith-based, call for presenters, churches, call for presenters, technology, right? Look under the industries and the places you're trying to impact and look for for presenters. That's going to be an opportunity. Now, what I want to say is, because y'all got to find the fruit in the barrel, right? Because there's a barrel, there's fruit in there, but y'all want the fruit to be right there in front of you. And this is where the 3 C's of success come in. Remember, we talked about this. For folks who are in Speaking for Profit, you already know this. Other folks, maybe you're new. Credibility, conversations, and contracts. Right? Credibility. Somebody saying you lost me again. Let me see. Credibility. Can y'all hear me? Credibility, conversations, and contracts. Right? That's what we're thinking about. That's what we're thinking about. So for you, what's going to build the most credibility for you? What's going to build the most credibility is you showing up at these events where people don't know you already, being willing to build with you. They don't know you yet, right? They don't know you yet. So you've got to go to these conferences and these events, call for presenters, submit, and you might not get paid, y'all, to come and speak at that conference. But guaranteed, if you're able to be in a room with 20 to 30 different people, sometimes 50 to 60, y'all know how these conferences be. And the great thing is a lot of these events sometimes are virtual. If you're able to be in the room where it happens, present, and then use Talkadot or another platform to engage people in potentially hiring you from the audience. Not selling your product, but hiring you to come into that organization to go deeper on that topic. That's how I built my business in the beginning, right? Because I would go to a Blackout conference, and Blackout is like the Black queer conference that happens in California. Usually it happens at a different university, either UC Berkeley or UCLA. I would go there with my wife. We would go present on Black love and empowerment or how to navigate anti-Blackness, something that these organizations really need, these students really need. We're primarily speaking to college students. Those college students would be at our workshop and they would be like, we want you to come to Berkeley. We want you to come to Merced. We want you to come to Riverside, right? So we give them a piece of it, a taste of the medicine. And when you have a conference or an event that is honored by an association, you know that there's people there that have a budget because their company sent them there with the budget. So it's money in the room, right? And people are actually sometimes going to these events to find the next talent, to find the person who has the next expertise to really be able to support them. So I want you to really like I know we talk a lot about like making sure that it's paid, but I think if I was going to do anything that was free, and I'm going to do a few of these opportunities in 2024, it would be conferences and events. And I will look at it as call for presenters. Look under call for presenters, and that's going to really be able to help you. Might say Riverside. Oh, yep, I love Riverside. Yep, I'm glad y'all can hear me now. And I apologize for the tech issues. It's a part of life, y'all. So it's all good. It's all good. We're good. Okay, so second place. First place is professional associations and organizations. And I hope you underlined call for presenters. The next place that you're going to find paid opportunities is speaker directories. So there's a few speaker directories that are out there, and they're kind of like marketplaces where event planners look for speakers. One of them is called, Speakers Match. There's another one called eSpeakers. And then there's also speakers bureaus. Now, what I like about these places is it builds the first C of success, which is credibility, right? Because if I search your name, right, like I see my amazing client Rakita is here, and if y'all have not listened to the last episode of the Speaking for Profit podcast, y'all need to go check it out on YouTube. Me and Rakita talk about profitable networking, but not to go on a tangent. But let's say I was to look up Rakita, right, Rakita Franklin. If I was to look up her name, then if she's under a speakers bureau who has a really strong SEO, then her name would pop up under that speakers bureau. So what I always say is if we're going to sign up for a speakers bureau, an agency, a matching type of system, make sure that they've got their business ethics together and that they're sharing with you how they're going to promote you. Because what a lot of these organizations want to do is they want to amplify themselves by utilizing your platform, but they're not doing the fair exchange, if that makes sense. I don't want to be on a website that's just got the same SEO and traction as mine. I want to be on a website or a part of an organization that's going to help me up level, and I can help them as well. So it needs to be more of a partnership. And I think what happens is that a lot of people go into the relationships with the speaker bureau or these speaker match companies, not really having any expectations. So make sure that you have that. But the great thing and how you can use this strategy is that if you are on those websites, you might get opportunities throughout the year because people will be looking for different speakers. So instead of just being on a broader like speakers bureau, like they have the National Speakers Bureau and all of those things that are really large, look for them that are more niche for your industry or niche for your actual cultural background, right? So maybe you want to find a speakers bureau that's focused on women or women of color, or maybe you want to find one that's focused on LGBT if you're focused on that, right? Really something that's more niche down and specific, because then when Women's History Month comes around, when LGBT History Month comes around, when Black History Month, when Hispanic Heritage Month, all of those different activities, speakers and event planners are looking at those niche organizations and they're going to find you on the website and be able to support you. It's not something that happens consistently, but I don't see a problem with partnering with someone who is more legitimate and that you want to build a partnership with. There's nothing wrong with it. Now, you might have to pay. Some of these speaker agencies, they require you to pay, or what they'll do is they'll take a percentage, right, of the paid opportunities. And there's a lot of them. So just make sure you do your homework. Some people are doing it and they don't have a lot of integrity. So I just want you to make sure that you align yourself with people who have integrity and are doing it right. The third place where you can find lucrative paid opportunities are universities and educational institutions, right? Colleges aren't just for students. They often welcome guest lecturers to share their real world insight. So this is a game changer, y'all. Like, this is a pro tip. The two people who probably, and I know this because I worked in higher education, y'all, for 10 years. The two people on college campuses that probably have the most money, I would say, are students, right? Students and faculty. Faculty have the ability to bring people in as guest lecturers, to do all of that, deans, right? Like, they have the ability to do that on a higher level, and students do because they have the student activity fees, right? Which is why when I was telling y'all I would go to Blackout every year with my wife, because we knew that students were there and students had fees every year that they needed to pay so that they can have a student activity fund that they could bring in speakers and consultants through. So if you're able to go to an event that's sponsored by your local university or your college and speak or hold space for free or get paid to do it, that's a great opportunity. The other thing is that faculty often have their own conferences and events. So I will look for call for presenters at faculty events that you can go and speak and share your knowledge at. And sometimes what we do is we get to feeling imposter syndrome when we start talking about faculty or universities. But I want y'all to really think about this. While universities and faculty are so smart in their topic and their domain, there's still so much work to do around equity. There's still so much work to do around mental health. There's still so much work to do around bureaucracy. Faculty need your support. And if you're able to go in and support them, then they're going to probably bring you in to be a guest lecturer to support their learning environment, right? So if you can really get connected, not just going to college and universities and looking at the organization itself, but where are the places that these people are actually governing and building community. So two places, right, that I went to while I was in higher education, where I was able to find people who wanted to pay me and to build relationships were NASPA, and that's NASPA, NASPA, and NCORE, NCORE. Those two places often had faculty, staff, administrators from college campuses who were attending the event, right? They were sent there from their university and they were looking at talent. And oftentimes we would build relationships and then they would bring me to their campus, right? So that's a pro tip for you. Write down those two events. You should be there. So those are the first three, right? We talked about professional associations and organizations looking for call for presenter. We talked about speaker directories or bureaus, and we talked about universities and educational institutions, right? We're going to go into the last two, but before we go into the last two, I know that y'all lost sound from me for a little bit, so I want to make sure that my folks who might have got on later got this information. We do free trainings every week. If you would like to be put on our text message list, just go on and text the word SPEAK to 323-405-9492. We'll send you over those free trainings and development. We will not spam you. We'll only know you when we have opportunities for you to learn how to monetize your message even more. And if you are watching us on YouTube right now, please go on and press that like button, subscribe. It continues to help us pay the bills and grow this amazing platform called Speaking for Profit. All right, so let's get back into it. So we talked about the first three. Let's go through the last two. The next one is corporate events, right? Companies, big or small, host events, seminars, and training sessions. If you got skills in leadership, team building, or anything for that industry, there might be a company ready to cut a check in your insight. Now, a lot of you are thinking like, how do I get to corporate events? Like, how do I even know when corporate events are happening? And what I want you to do is start local. Oftentimes we go on the internet. Yeah, I understand we're an internet group, right? We all want to be virtual, but there's nothing like something that's in your backyard. So what would it look like to go to your city of chambers, right? Maybe looking up your local convention center. What events do they have going on for the next 6 months? And can you go look up those events and see if they need speakers or presenters? The reason I say to look at local is because you don't have to spend on accommodations. So if they can only pay you a few hundred or a few $1,000s, you might be willing to do it because it's right there in your backyard and you can get a bag, but then you can also meet people from around the country who are coming to your city for that particular event, right? So look up your city of chambers, your city of chambers. I don't know how you say that, chambers. I don't know. Anyways, either way it goes, chambers, tomatoes model. Look up the convention center in your local area. What events are happening? What corporate events are happening that you should be at? And it doesn't have to be directly connected to your industry. Think about how it could be something that maybe you want to break into. Maybe you want to get more experience in, because you never know who you might meet. Now, this can get expensive if you're just paying for all these events. So that's why I said look them up, go on the website and see if they're looking for presenters or speakers, because oftentimes they'll pay you to come in and speak, right? Chamber of Commerce. There we go. Chamber of Commerce. There we go. Thank you. They will pay you to come in and speak, right? But they might not have a big budget, or they might just give you registration for free, right? They might just give you registration for free because you're coming in to be a speaker. There's also often local discounts, right? Because they're like, oh, you're local, we'll give you a discount and stuff like that. So look that up. That would be the next place I would look for opportunity. And I'm going to say this as well. If you're a small business owner, most cities have a small SBA type of center or space where you can go and get support. I have not been to the one here. I live in Atlanta, Georgia, but I need to go because I know it's probably popping. But that's another place where you might be able to share your expertise and build relationships, right? All it takes you is being in an audience with decision makers and people who got the bag for you to secure your next opportunity. And the way that when we had our session with Arel, and I appreciate him so much, Arel Moody from Talkadot, he talked about this concept of landing and expanding, right? So you get into a room where it happens, whether it's a conference, event, or association, and you expand your network by over delivering, sharing your expertise, right? You expand, right? And then more people want to be able to work with you. It only takes you being on one stage for you to build this business out. Imagine if you go to one event and five to 10 people at every event want to bring you into their organization. That's what's going to help you grow. But what we want to do is we want to just do one-offs and one-offs and one-offs. And it's like, this is a reputation and a relationship business. So go out and build relationships and build a phenomenal reputation, and people are going to keep coming for you. I know y'all see some speakers, celebrity speakers, and this and that. I'm talking about making this a profession. I'm not talking about making this something that's popping for you while people like what you're talking about. I'm talking about it actually being a profession and being something that's consistent. And that's the way that you're going to find it. So I was talking about the Chamber of Commerce for people who were wondering what I was talking about because I couldn't figure out the word. So shouts out to the Philosophy for the Queens for giving me that correction. I really appreciate it. So corporate events. The last place is local groups and clubs, right? And what I want you to think about local groups and clubs is like every city has an opportunity for people to meet up and to be connected, right? Like there's different spaces. There's like even spaces in every city for people who are new to that city. There's local community groups that do like community service. There might be a local financial group. I remember when I was living in the Bay Area, there was like a group for like Black entrepreneurs who were trying to get into business. So look up the local groups that are in your community. How can you go and support and speak there? Because maybe you go and speak there. Maybe they have, like, I'm thinking about every city has like a city planning meeting, right? And yeah, they're talking about city planning, but they're also a group that meets consistently. And what we don't think about is those small groups in our backyards, they often need support with team building, with collaboration, with leadership, even though they're not seen as organizations, they're seen as groups, so they're not taken as serious sometimes. But they need that support just as much. They're not spending every meeting planning. Some of the meeting is built in for them to build community so that they can plan and do things together even better. And I'm even thinking about like government groups, right? Like maybe you have a group of Democrats or Republicans, if you're Republican, or independents, whoever it may be. Can you go in to support that group, share community, and maybe offer something, right? And I'm even thinking for myself right now, like what would it look like? I live in Atlanta. What would it look like if I reached out to my local city that's doing their meetings, and talk about city planning? I'm interested in learning more because I'm interested in real estate, to lead them through a meditative practice, because I can imagine right now that must be stressful. It must be really stressful to be a volunteer of any group when we have high inflation. A lot of people are not being paid what they're worth. A lot of people are not volunteering as much. So the people who are volunteering are probably overstretched. So what does it look like to lead them through like a restful meditation and really support them with that, right? It might not start off paid, but eventually they might be like, hey, we want to bring you in once a quarter. And we know that these community groups already have a budget. So why not support them? Right? So think about your local community groups, especially the ones who are doing more of the community service driven work. How can you support them, and how can you bring your medicine, your expertise, and your knowledge into that space? Right? So we covered 5 different areas. The first one was professional organizations and associations. The second one was speaker directories or bureaus. Third was universities and educational institutions. Fourth was corporate events happening in your area or internationally or nationally, whatever it may be. I'm just trying to give you something that you could start with today. And then local groups and clubs. Those are the places where you can find paid speaking opportunities. Now, there's other ones as well, but the reason I said that these are the top, because you could literally start this today and look in your backyard. I think oftentimes what happens to us as speakers, and I was talking to my clients about this recently, is that we wait for someone else to create a stage for us instead of really being a little bit more active than passive. If you have an expertise that you know you can share with the world, you can do this research right now. You don't need to hire an agency. You don't need to hire a PR. You need to get the homework done. You need to get the homework done. You need to know what's happening in your local area, right? Before you even step out into the world. So I hope that this was helpful in a way to kind of reframe. Now, what I want to discuss with you, and then I'm going to head out, is how do you particularly get in conversation, and what does it look like to pitch these opportunities? Two things I want you to consider. One, you have to have an understanding of what problem you're solving in the industry. You have to be a problem solver. You can't just be a person who just speaks about a topic. What problem are you solving in the industry? And in order for you to solve a problem too, you have to do your research. So I'm going to give you a little homework from today, if that's okay. I want you to sit down and think to yourself, what industry am I speaking to or consulting with? And what problem am I solving? And do a little research. Where is that industry currently? If you're thinking about healthcare, where's healthcare? How are the workers feeling? How many people are graduating every year? Is there any gaps that need to be filled? Right? Like I know when I was working at the medical school, when I looked at the stats and the data, the amount of Black men that actually graduate from medical school has gone lower and lower since 1994. That's a gap, right? So where is your field? And then you're going to find that gap that you can fill with your expertise. And the reason I say this is important is because when you're going through the corporate events, the speaker directories, the professional associations, you don't have to pitch a bunch of different concepts. You can pitch one problem that you're solving and see who's the one who's willing to take you in so that they can give you that stage. So I want you to create one pitch and send it out to many, right? We call that our Beyonce method. Beyonce got one album. She got many, but she got one album she tours usually, right? She's touring on Renaissance. She might throw a little sprinkle from the other albums in there, but this is the Renaissance tour. We're all going to get the same version of it. I know some of us got more songs. Some of us did better on the mute challenge. Some of us got, baby blue, and some of us didn't get blue. But the whole emphasis of it is it's one album. We're going to rock it out. And I want that for you as well. So find that one problem that you're solving and then figure out, based off of these top 5 things that we discussed, how is there maybe one event that you can pick out from each of those that you can explore building relationships and partnerships with. So if I'm thinking about myself, right? Like I speak about LGBT inclusion. Is there professional association and organizations that I should be connected to and be speaking at? Are there speaker directories that I should be under that topic, right? Are there universities and institutions? Of course, there's plenty of LGBT centers that I should be speaking to. Are there some corporate events that I should make sure that I'm at based off of that problem that I'm solving? Are there local groups already in my community that I should be connected to? So take the 5 and intersect it and connect it to the problem that you're solving, right? Don't make this difficult, because I want y'all to secure some bags, right? Someone recently reached out to me and they said, Evolve, I made $10,000 from one of your free trainings, and I want that for y'all as well. And it's definitely possible, right? It's definitely possible. So I'm Evolve Benson, the Speaking for Profit Coach. This has been the Speakers Room Live, right? This gives us an opportunity to deep dive into a training every week that takes you closer and closer to monetizing your message. And many of you have already been paid to speak. And I want to see that actually. Put in the comments, if you've already been paid to speak, put the word paid in there, right? And if you have not been paid to speak, put the word love in there, right? Because that means that you've been loved on to speak, but you ain't been paid yet. But if you've been paid to speak, go on and put that in the comments. If you haven't yet, put the word love. We'd love to know where folks are at. And I hope that this was helpful for you to really be thinking to yourself, what are the different ways and different places that I can find to pitch myself? Where can I find opportunities, right? Because what I want for you folks is strategy. I want us to start thinking about business as strategy and not as emotionality. What this gives you when you start pitching and applying is data. So that next year or in the next 6 months, you're able to say, you know what? Evolve talked about associations, and I done made about $20,000 from associations. I'm going to double down on that outreach in the next quarter. Or you're able to say, you know what? Universities have really been paying me. I'm going to double down on that outreach in the next quarter. So we've got to get started. So I want a commitment from y'all. If you're going to get started today and you're going to implement something today, go on and put the word implement in the comments. If you're going to implement and pitch someone in the next couple of weeks, go on and put the word implement in the comments, right? Because I want that for y'all. I don't want you to just sit on information. Information is not going to help you. You've got to implement. So put the word implement into the comments if you are going to take that with you and move forward with it, right? Move forward with it. Don't sit on it. Don't wait for someone else to give you a stage or give you an opportunity. You can create this for yourself. You do not have to wait for it. You do not have to wait for it. Do not forget about that. Forget one, the association stipend, laugh out loud. Yep, exactly. Exactly. All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much for being here. Sorry for the tech issues earlier. It's all good though. I appreciate y'all sticking around. Again, for folks who did not get this information, maybe you came on a little bit later, go on and text the word speak to 323-405-9492. That gives you an opportunity to get access to these free trainings when we go live and talk about these amazing topics. Again, I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here, and peace.